All right. The interview of Nick Trigili, Hunter Labrada, and Bryan TROIANELLO is over. And this is Bodybuilding Babble. And me and Ian are bringing you the condensed version of what happened in that interview. So, Ian,
Yes,
as
sir.
everybody knows that watches our channel on Thursdays, well, actually, it comes up on Fridays. We record on Thursdays. We do Bodybuilding Babble, and it gives you the news and the gossip of what's happening going on in the bodybuilding world. I actually had interviewed Hunter. So I was sort of inadvertently a small fraction portion of this.
Okay.
And now Nick, Hunter, and Bryan were on Trigili's channel to resolve their issues, if you will, and do an interview. So why don't you give a backstory of actually what happened with Hunter and Bryan and how the interview went with Nick?
Well, you could see that they were both, training over there, and then getting with the nationals, and then going through the pro shows, and then going to say that you could definitely see, they had their ups and downs, like anything.
Right.
Especially with the way they were talking, like, oh, I had to be away from him for a few hours because I see him every day. I'm like, okay, well, that's a coach or that's a trainer or both. Like, if he's your partner, if he's your training partner plus your coach, it's like, how much
why don't you give actually what the backstory is? We'll give our opinion afterwards, but let's give what the backstory is.
I was listening to it, and after a while, it was like, to me personally, after watching, I was like, I can't. It's like you're watching the Housewives.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll give basically what was going on. So Nick Trigili had reported that he had some kind of source, I don't know if it was Bryan or not, basically saying that Hunter and Bryan were working together. Bryan was Hunter's best friend, and yep, Bryan was coaching him up until I believe it was the 2021.
Yeah, like
that's when he came in fourth. He was coaching him up until the 2021 Olympia, and then Bryan had no idea, but he made it seem as if Hunter took on Ben Chow as a coach behind Bryan's back.
Right.
Okay. So at first, Bryan came on, they did an interview, and he discussed his point. So what basically had happened, I had Hunter Labrada on muscular development because I have another show on muscular development. And I said to him, why did you pick Ben? But I didn't know the story. I didn't know the personal story behind Bryan and Hunter. And of course, and all I asked him was, why did you pick Ben instead of picking like a Chad Nichols or a Chris Aceto or a Hani? Right, exactly. You could have had any of those guys at your disposal, your Hunter Labrada, right? And he basically answered the question, and he gave an answer saying that him and Ben had a good personal relationship and he wanted to work with him. That was basically it. Nick did a reaction video saying that was horseshit and he knew the real story behind it and that he was going to actually have Bryan on for the interview. So they go on the interview. Bryan gives his whole side of the story, saying that it was very stressful working with Nick. I'm sorry, not Nick, Hunter, rather. Okay, and so what was happening was Bryan wasn't only his coach, but Bryan was his coach, his workout partner, and his best friend. So they were in each other's lives tremendously. Now, I mean, I know, Ian, you never prepped for a show, but you know how it goes. I prepped for a show, not even close to that level. I can only imagine what it's like on that level, right, but it's extremely stressful.
From like I said, being around bodybuilders,
right?
I know I've never heard a guy, prep was most preps have a little bit of hiccups.
Mm-hmm.
Some are really good. Sometimes people get hiccups here and there, and it could be a few things.
Right.
Mostly medical.
Yeah, it could be right. So basically, let's stay on track with the interview. Yeah. So it's very stressful. So they would prep, and then they would prep, and they were, like I said, each other's best friends. Hunter is the godfather of one of his kids, so you could tell how close they are. And they're very, very close. So it's coach, best friend, almost family, workout partner. And that's what Hunter was doing for a living, was at that point, he was a full-time bodybuilder. So Bryan's basically saying that he went behind his back, got Ben as a coach. He didn't know anything about it, and they, for the most part, there was some. He didn't know until Hunter said it on Fuad's podcast, and he said that he was very hurt, and they haven't spoken to each other. And they haven't spoken to each other in the last year and a half or so, whatever. Blah 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 blah. So Hunter comes on and gives his side of the story. And the thing is, he shows text messages. They say that
he shows receipts.
Yeah, he shows receipts. And he did not tell him that he was working with Ben, but he did tell him that he did not want to work with him anymore. But he said it very nicely. He said it very diplomatically, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it was 4 weeks before the Olympia. And he came in fourth. And that's what they were gunning for. They were gunning for top 5 that year, right? This was 2021.
Right.
And then Bryan finds out that on the interview that he was working with Ben. Ben does see Bryan before the interview on Fuad, and Ben does not tell Bryan. So Bryan felt hurt that Ben didn't say anything to him, that Hunter didn't say anything to him. And then when Hunter's side was, Ben was basically just being respectful and not starting gossip and saying, hey, look, he thought it wasn't his place to tell him, which it really isn't, right? It's Hunter's place to tell him. Okay. That is basically the whole thing in a nutshell. They said they had a heated private exchange that they would not reveal on social media, period. And neither one of them would.
Right.
Okay. That's basically the whole thing. They haven't been friends for a long time. They, according to them, they have not had any ill will toward each other. They both don't have any hatred or bad feelings toward each other. It's been some time. Okay. That's the condensed version of basically what happened. I will put in the link, not that anybody doesn't know who Nick Trigili is and where to go to see it, but I will put it in the link at the description if you want to watch the whole thing and see in detail, because there's a lot more detail that goes into that. We just gave you the condensed version. Now for our opinion of it. You want to go first? You want me to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first on this one. Oh my God.
Right,
I mean, you can see if you watch the interview, the faces they make.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh,
especially Bryan.
Bryan's like,
yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, we understand. You're a little hurt. We understand.
Right.
You wanted the top 4, you can say you wanted the top 5 Olympia on your resume.
Mm.
Right? Am I correct? You wanted the top 5 on your resume, so you could use that.
Of course. Absolutely. 100%.
To book other clients. Mm-hmm. And unfortunately, you didn't get that. But it was kind of wrong because 4 weeks out to the, you went to Ben. Okay, Hunter, fine. That's your choice.
Right.
And you said it diplomatically, but still, it is what it is.
Right.
But Bryan's face was a little bit, like a little bit to us over the top.
Yeah, it was. He was.
I mean, okay, Hunter felt a certain way. You feel a certain way. All right. But at least, all right, it's done. What's done is done.
Yeah.
Hopefully they can now go on doing whatever they want to do. And now, does Hunter, my thing is this, from now we'll see what happened. Apparently Hunter's got a new diet. Does he stay with Ben or is he going to do something else?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Because he was working with Andrew Vu before Bryan. Right. So then he went with Bryan, and I was with Ben. But that is no big deal. That happens all the time.
Right.
The guys change trainers like they change underwear. It's unbelievable.
Like when what's the guy? Super Slice Dom had Nick.
Right. And then he went back to
all right, that's it. Went back to Matt.
Yeah. Look how many trainers Big Ramy had. I think he went through every top trainer in the world. It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
So that's very common. That's really not a big deal. Okay. Here's
let's hear your opinion, because like you said, mine was just like, okay, it's more of the faces that they were making through the entire interview.
Here's my opinion. All right. When Hunter started working with Ben, should he have told Bryan? Yeah, probably. But he did tell Bryan very diplomatically that he does not want to work with them anymore, right? 4 weeks before the Olympia. If you can't understand that this young man has this stress on him. Number one, he's got to do the biggest bodybuilding show in the world.
Yep.
And number two, people are comparing him to Nick Walker and who is going to do better. And they're battling for top 5. If you don't understand the stress that this guy is under, then that's on you. And he told you he doesn't want to work with you anymore, very diplomatically, and it was very stressful. Now, once he hears that, as far as I'm concerned, if he wanted to search out another trainer, that's fine, right? The only little thing that he didn't do was basically tell him directly. But
he told him.
But he did tell him he didn't want to work with him anymore.
Right. That's what I don't understand.
That's all. And really, that's all he really did have to say. Now, if it was me, would I have said something? Yeah, probably. I would have said, "Hey, listen, just so you know, me and Ben are working together, right? Blah 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 blah." Okay. It is very difficult to have a friend, a coach, business partner as well, because they had a personal training business together.
Right. Yep.
A friend, a best friend, almost family, godfather to your kid, a business partner, a coach, and a workout partner all in one. That's never going to work. That is never going to work.
Do not want that. Even like I said, I'm not a person who has competed ever.
Yeah. That is yeah.
You already know it.
You want your coach to be the guy that sees you once a week or twice a week, or he maybe message you daily if you're at the Olympia level, right? Like an Aceto or a Farah or a Ramrod, and says, okay, this is what you have to do, A, B, and C. You want if you have a workout partner, you want your workout partner to basically just be there to push you and do the workout that you need to do if you're the Olympian, right?
Correct.
And your business partner should be now your business partner and your friend. I could see maybe, okay, you could probably work that out, right? But when you have everything comprised, that relationship of everything, that's a recipe for disaster. That is going to explode. It is inevitable.
The fact that all that and under the stress, still he got top 4.
Yeah, right. He still got top 4. Right. Absolutely. I've worked with my brothers, and they're my brothers, and we have a close family. I've worked for my brothers. And it was just working. But, of course, we were together all day or partial of the day. And this is way before what I was doing now. I was in my 20s. And then you see them on the weekends or when you go to your mom's house or for holidays or whatever. It's not easy because to separate brother or family from work. It's not easy because you have that. There's always that tension,
So was your brother your boss?
Yeah.
Oh, so yeah. That's
so. And my 2 older brothers were partners, and even they had tension, and they split up. Okay, they split up and started their own businesses because they couldn't work together, and I can't even imagine being a business partner, a workout partner, a coach. And family, basically family. I mean, if you're the godfather of one of your kids, you're fucking family. Yeah. I can't imagine that. Now, once Hunter put it all out there, you could see in Bryan's face that he looked like he made himself out to look like the victim, if you will.
Yeah.
And then once Hunter put it all out there, you could tell that, because you could tell by Bryan's face, because if you notice, he stonewalled, he was kind of bobbing and weaving because he was saying things like, I just don't understand why we're not friends anymore.
Right.
And then it's like, I don't care about the coaching. I don't understand why we're not friends anymore. Right. And then Hunter was like, all right, well, let me, give my side of the story. And then at the end, he's like, just like, what shows are you doing? And then Hunter was like, well, I'm not revealing what shows I'm doing now. And he goes,
I know what shows he's doing.
Yeah, well, that was probably recorded last week, and he revealed it this week, right? Yeah. So that was probably recorded, because I do that. I record something.
Yeah, well, he actually told Buys and Tries what he was doing.
Yeah. And so at the time when they were recording, Hunter was like, I'm not revealing what shows I'm doing yet. And Bryan's like, well, I think you should. And he was trying to kind of bait him and manipulate the situation to make him look like he's kind of like the bad guy, which Hunter obviously was not.
Right.
The only thing that Hunter did, and it really was not a big deal, was was didn't tell him that he worked with Ben after he basically said, I don't want you to work, and I don't want to work with you anymore. But
Right.
even that was not a big deal. Look, when I used to do, I don't do as much electrical side work anymore. I had my brother as a licensed electrician, and I went to my brother. I had a big job that I wanted to do, and it needed to be filed. What they refer to as filed, and you need a licensed electrician to file. So my brother would file it. I would do the job, and I would give him a portion of the job. Well, we had a big argument. And I made a decision that if I ever have another job like that, I'm not going to my brother to file. Now, I had gotten another job, and I found another licensed electrician that was going to file for me. I told him. I did. I went to him. I told him face to face. Was it necessary for me to tell him? No. No, but I did it just because it's my brother, and I'm like,
respect.
And it's I did, and that's the manly thing to do. Now, put it in perspective where Hunter is. Hunter has the Olympia coming up, and he told him, diplomatically, I don't want to work with you anymore. We'll talk after the Olympia. If you don't understand that as a friend, business partner, workout partner, coach, if you can't understand that, that's on you.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's on him, because
that's on you. That's on Bryan, because if you, I would not even be able to not process that. That would be my. If things got so bad, I would probably say, hey, listen, I would probably say to Hunter, but then again, I'm pretty aware of people and human nature and whatnot. I would probably say to Hunter, hey, listen, man, I know things are getting stressed. Do you still want to work with me? If you still want to work with me, fine. But if you don't, I get it. You have the Olympia coming up. Now, I get it. Not everybody's like me. I understand. But if you can't understand that Hunter said to you, I got the Olympia coming up, and I got the Olympia coming up. I he's aiming for top 5, which is really stressful, right? And we'll deal with it after the Olympia. If you can't deal with that, I'm sorry. That's on Bryan. That's on Bryan. And the other thing that Bryan did that I'm glad Hunter said that, was Bryan kept bringing up that Hunter was having problems with his wife, and they would argue. And then he said to Hunter, yeah, but the day before you argued with Liv, which is Hunter's wife. And Hunter said, yeah, but that's got nothing to do with you.
Right.
That's 100% accurate. What the fuck does that have to do with you?
Why? Because when you're saying that sounds like you try to bring up something to make Hunter look a bad guy.
Yeah, right.
But one thing I would say about Hunter that I respect, he brought up receipts.
He did.
And he's like this. Oh, yeah? You want to talk about me?
Right.
Pop it on the screen.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Where I think the majority of people are going to respect Hunter a lot more now. I mean, don't get me wrong. Of course, you're going to have your haters. I mean, Nick has a huge following, so of course there's going to be mixed. But I think the majority of people are going to see is going to see the person that Hunter is in respect and be respectful. And he actually said, the only reason I went on here, I did not want this to be in the public. And then Bryan said, I never said anything bad about you. And Hunter said, the negative messages I got through the grapevine around Houston were out of control. So I respectfully disagree with that. So, and then Bryan sat there quiet.
So you know what that means.
Yeah, he was talking mad shit.
We know where that comes from. If it was up here, he'd have been dealt with.
Yeah, you're probably right. Yeah.
Hunter's being nice.
But that's our opinion. That's just my opinion. Okay. I don't know these people. I've interviewed Hunter twice.
I've met Hunter a few times.
I don't know Bryan. I don't know Nick. I don't know these people. This is just our opinion of what happened on this interview. I think most people should go and take a look and decide for themselves.
And the whole thing, like I said, Bryan said what he had to say. Hunter said what he had to say. But when you look at Hunter's point of view, Hunter's like,
Yeah.
hold on now.
Yeah. Right.
You talking a whole lot.
That's right.
I'm gonna back it up.
Yeah.
Ego.
Yeah, exactly. Because if he didn't do that, if Hunter wasn't on that show and he didn't show those receipts, it would have
Hunter would have looked like the bad guy.
Hunter would have looked like the villain, 100%. Right, 100% would have looked like the villain.
And like I said, I'm gonna tell you this: when I was watching it, I'm like, okay, looking at more, I was more like getting disgusted because I'm like, okay, man, stop doing Bryan, stop doing that.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like you said, it was like I was watching a episode of Housewives with my wife.
So, like, I mean, like, I know you're hyper focused on it, but I'm looking at him like, Bryan, come on now, man.
Yeah.
He didn't do anything to you like that. Respect him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if listen, I know I'm a little older than these guys. I'm 46. I know these guys are a lot younger than me, but people come in and out of your life all the time. If you can't understand that you're going to have relationships are going to go sour. Relationships are going to get better. You need to have some thicker skin because that's life.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I've had guys that I've had, again, not even close to what they did, but I've had workout partners where I was competing in the NPC and I was like, I can't do this anymore. I got to do this on my own. And I told them that and whatever. And we're right on being whatever. And now don't get me. What I'm trying to say is people have always come in and out of your life.
Yeah.
And you're going to form relationships. You're going to form business relationships. You're going to form friendships. You're going to, whatever type of world you're in, you're going to form those relationships. And that not everything is going to be, not everything is going to be,
sure,
yeah,
everything, whatever you want to say.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And the shit is going to happen, and you have to be able to. Like that stuff should just bounce right off you. I mean, it's happened to me. I'm sure it's happened to you. I see it. I saw it with my father. I saw it with my brothers because they were always in business, and they always had partners or good people that work for them, and they go to leave or whatever the case may be, or they have a dispute, so on and so forth. I never had my own business, so I never had to deal with that in that aspect. But Thackeray doesn't like the direction I'm taking my podcast in, and he made it clear to me, and I said, okay, you don't have to be part of it. That's fine. And we parted ways, and that's it. It's going to happen. It's inevitable. And these guys have to get thicker skin. If you're going to go through life being just sensitive about this crap, you should be able to brush it off and move forward, because that's what men do. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, good luck. Yeah, you're right. Good luck getting through life if you're going to cry over everything.
Right. I mean, basically, like, how we talk. Like, okay, Bryan, sorry, man, but can't play the victim role now.
Yeah, it's over.
All right, you said what you had to say, but outside of what you said in that interview, you was on the streets talking in Houston.
That's what it sounds like.
It sounds like you was talking a whole lot. And Hunter,
that's what it sounds like. But don't take it from us. Go watch the whole video and decide for yourself. This is just our opinion. Go watch the whole thing, because there's a lot more detail that we're not going to cover, because we would be here forever if we did. The interview is an hour and a half. It's in 2 parts. But go watch it, decide for yourself. And I think at the end of the interview, whoever you decide is in the wrong or is in the right, or you might even decide nobody's in the wrong or right. At this point, I think this whole dispute is put to bed. It's done. Like
I said, in a nutshell, you could be Team Bryan, you could be Team Hunter,
yeah,
or you could be like, you know what, I'm just gonna be impartial, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly. And I got to give props to Nick. He was very respectful when he did the interview. He didn't. You could tell. Nick has the Nick personality when he's doing the gossip. and then Nick has the respectful personality. He's doing the interviews. I know he doesn't do interviews much. He used to, like back in the day, when he his first podcast, but I get it. It's people like that part of him when he's talking and gossiping and very confident and cocky and so on and so forth. People love it. He has a tremendous following. So props to him for basically putting it to rest and being respectful to both guys. So I don't know. You want to add anything else?
Out of the interview, or just in general?
No, out of the interview.
I'm glad it's done.
Yeah, me too, because it's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm glad it's done. Okay, you're all right, we're good with that.
Yeah. Bodybuilding Babble. And why don't you plug your show? I'm sure people that
want to check out. So if you guys want to check out my channel, is Ian Haydak. That is IAN. Okay, that's my first name. You guys don't know how to spell Ian. I spell it way different from the other bodybuilder Ian, because he spells it with a different letter. But it's IAN. Last name is Haydak, HEY, D as in David, ECKE. And check out something cool, because I'm always throwing out bodybuilding. I'm going somewhere. I'm doing events. You guys check out something, and I hope you guys will like what you see.
Yeah, my favorite part of your podcast is when you travel to different gyms and you will go and train in the gym, and you show the gym, and you talk about what you like, what you don't like, and then you do a workout there. That's my favorite part. Like, you went to Venice, you basically went all over the country and did it. You even went to Metroflex, right?
Yeah, but yes,
the original Metroflex.
So I've been to the original one, of course. Ronnie called me. Gotta love that.
Yeah,
but I went to the one called the Castle. That's in
Fort
Fort Worth.
Okay.
That's where. Okay, so Ben, Fuad, and I think Justin did a video there when they were in Texas.
Okay.
If you hear beeping in the background, that's not the fire. That's actually my food. It's
that's
done.
Right. No problem.
Just in case you hear like, I'm like, fuck, it's beeping.
Yeah.
Sorry.
But go check out Ian's podcast, YouTube channel. I will also put the link. I'll actually tag you in it, and I'll put the link in the description area so everybody can go to that. And Ian, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you waiting up late and doing this with me,
guys,
man.
And also, let's just say this: we're sorry that it's later on normal. We normally are on earlier, but we had to watch this.
We
didn't want to come with a blind eye. Like, say, what do you think?
Exactly. So,
if we came with a blind eye, you guys are wrong.
Yeah, it would be horrible. Yeah, we had to wait up late and do this because he put it up late. He actually put it up a couple of hours ago.
Yeah, and for us, we're different. We actually work. So sorry, guys.
Yeah,
we work.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah, we had. Yeah, this is our part-time gig. We actually have full-time jobs.
Yeah.
All right, Ian. Again, thank you very much, man. Appreciate everything, brother.
Appreciate you too, man.
All right, we'll be in touch.
Definitely.
Later.
Later.